Oh yeah, wait till forevermore. Oh yeah.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it's your main man, Akeem Dim. Yes, I'm back. Happy New Year. I know I'm late, but Happy New Year, everybody. Yes, I know it's been a long time since I heard my voice. I know. But I promise you guys that this month was a month about the mental talk. I know y'all was familiar with when the fans talk. Season 3 is coming out next month. As I said again, in my previous podcast, that season 3 I'm coming out strong, stronger than ever. I hope y'all been tuning in to season 2. It come to a close. I know some of y'all like, oh, what happened to the next episode? Yeah, season 2 was closed in December. I hope y'all been enjoying when the fans talk with yours truly. I had a few guests on there, and they will be back for season 3. So y'all stay tuned for that. But on this episode of the mental talk, yes, this is the mental talk part one. Yes, part one. As y'all see my flyer here, the mental talk 4-part series will be in January only. So only this month you will hear the mental talk. So it's something very creative, something new that I thought to do because last year was a lot. I mean, 2020 was a whole lot. I know some of y'all out there may feel the same way that 2020 was just a nerve wracking. You didn't understand what was going on. Didn't understand how to even comprehend what was going on. It was just crazy. So I thought to myself, I said, why not start off 2021 with the mental talk? And talk about the mental mind, talk about our minds, as they say, our mind is a terrible thing to waste, it's a terrible thing to waste, So I say, you know what? Let me start it off with a series, a 4-part series, have some people on to talk about the mental talk. So I said, why not let me start it off? Let me start it off real quick. So, as I was doing some studying about the mental talk, I came to realize that mental health is very key. It's very key, I was reading about the World Health Organization. They say mental health is a state of well-being of to trying to cope with what's going on and the stress that's going on around you, And I was like, man, last year, like 2020, I feel like last year was very nerve wracking to the point like your mind was just thinking like so much because like you couldn't understand what was going on. So I felt like a lot of people, mind was just thinking other things. I know a lot of people was depressed. A lot of people was like, down because mental health starts with your mind and how you and not even just your mind. It affect your well being. It affect how you feel because now you just operating out of the norm. Because you're trying to cope with your feelings, but because of the pressure, because of what's going on around, it caused your mind to think otherwise. So mental health, what it means to me is understanding your well being. Trying to understand who you really are, understanding how to really cope with world situation with current events. Like for instance, this whole coronavirus, that happened last year, it was so funny because last year that whole saying, 2020 vision that we gonna see clearly next year, all that. But we did not see coronavirus, and it happened during the time I believe it was March, like mid part March, because actually around January time last year they was talking about coronavirus in China and how it was affecting the Chinese people. So we thought that we was good. We said, you know what, America is straight. We don't have to worry about coronavirus. It's in China. Let's stay over there. Not knowing that the next couple of months, which was mid part March, that we will experience one of the craziest times that we had experienced since the Great Depression. It was a crazy time last year. We was trying to understand what is coronavirus, like what is COVID-19. Will this ever stop? Like, will this ever end? We was trying to like cope with our feelings and trying to understand how can we live like this. Live like this with mask. Mask. This is the new norm. Put on a mask. Putting on a mask is the new norm now. And it's crazy. You know, whoever I would never have thought. You know, I'm 23 years old. I will never like even come to a realization that the world living now will be like this, wearing a mask. Like it's crazy, and it's crazy y'all out there. I mean, it's really crazy. Like we got really wear a mask everywhere we go. And you know, if you don't wear a mask, they're gonna throw you out the store. You know, people be like, "Oh, where my mask at? Where my mask at?" You know, so it's like we never would have like realized that how serious coronavirus was gonna be. You know, it's crazy. So I felt like a lot of people's mental health kicked in. A lot of people had anxiety attacks, depression. I mean, they was going through it. I heard a lot of people telling me about how, you know, they couldn't really sleep that good. They had sleepless night. They had sleepless nights. They couldn't really eat properly because, like, you know, during the time of like the start of coronavirus, some people lost their job. Some people, you know, couldn't like pay their bills on time. So people couldn't eat, you know, get food to eat because of the money. Their income wasn't like high like how it usually be. So it was a lot on the mind last year. I would say it was a whole lot. I mean, man, I could really say for myself, like it was a lot for me because actually last year, you know, a lot of people that I know passed. Like a lot of people that were close to me went on, you know, as they said, went on to see the Lord, you know. But you know, it was so hard at one point last year because I was trying to cope with my emotions. Like I was like, man, life really changed. Like it's not normal no more, and I had to really like understand it and come to a realization that, you know, life how it was 5 years ago, like how it was when I was in middle school, like how it was when I was in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. That life ain't coming back. So I gotta get used to this kind of life, you know, with a mask on. So it took a lot of understanding and realization within my mind that listen, this is the world that we're living in right now. And just gotta try to cope with your emotions, try to cope with your feelings, cause I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna lie, and I could testify for yourself in the comments that 2020 just was this a year that you had to just try to, you know, live. Like, you know, a lot of people went on, a lot of people died last year because of COVID-19, and you know, it just was a crazy situation. You know, I think at one point over like 1,000 people died in one week. And it was crazy. You turn the news on and you be like, dang, more people dying? Like, whoa, what's going on? Like, this is really getting serious. Like, I can't understand I can't understand. Like, I was like, man, I wish this coronavirus could just stop. You know, like I said, can this coronavirus really stop? Like, can it stop? Like, I was just, at one point, I was just sad. Like, I was like, man, I was sad. I was like really sad. Like, I was depressed. And I know Netflix got their coins last year. Because Netflix was on a high. I know it was on a high. I know. All them top shows they was bringing out, all them other shows they're bringing out, I'm telling you, it was on a high. But even, you know, regards to Netflix and regards to other shows that was out there, I just felt like it helped us with our mind. You know, it helped us to really cope with our feelings, cope with our emotions, because you know we need you need a distraction. I would say we needed a distraction, you know, regards to what was going on in the world, because it was just so much upon our body. There's just so much upon our mind. There's just so much to try to comprehend, trying to cope. That sometimes it became a stress. Even with the whole, Black Lives Matter situation, when during the time when there was protesting regards to, George Floyd, what happened with him, which is crazy. Yeah, I know what happened to George Floyd, and we protest, we didn't even care about doing the mass. We cared about justice. We cared about justice. That's what I would say. And it was just so, how can I say? It was just so, good. No, I didn't know what I'm looking for, but it was so. I'll go with it. It was so good. Like it was so like I was elated. I was just it was just phenomenal. There we go. It was just phenomenal to see how everybody came together to march together in regards to justice. During a time where it was just so much going on with COVID-19, to see how everybody just march, regards to getting justice, and not just in one state, but in most of the states in America. The news was showing how everybody was just marching together as one to get justice. So that was one bright side I could say about 2020, that caused it to get caused our minds to really get distracted from COVID-19. Like I think that was very good at distraction, because we were just going through the motions. I think we always going through the motion. We always just depressed, because we felt like we couldn't do nothing. You couldn't go to no. I mean, it was a lockdown at one point. Matt, I said one of my podcasts, on the Fan Talk podcast, I was saying how when COVID-19 happened, like when it was on high alert, it was around my birthday, which was April 17th. So putting it out there, April 17th is my birthday. Yes, it is. I'm an Aries. Aries up. You heard? Hand. But yeah. So I couldn't do nothing for my birthday. Now, some people would say, some birthdays don't really mean nothing, Yeah, I get it, but it's just a chance to celebrate your life. Every day above ground is a day to really celebrate and, give give God praise, give the man upstairs praise, for giving you life, So it was tough for me. I was very mad. I was sad because I was like, man, I cannot do nothing for my birthday, because they had everything on lockdown. They had it was everything. Like I couldn't go out nowhere to eat. I had to stay home. I had to go to work and stay home. That's what I had to do, because everything was just locked down. So it was just so hard. I was like, man. And then one of my friend's father died on my birthday too, which is so crazy. God rest his soul. It was so crazy. It was so tough. I was like, man. I was like, shucks. I was like, oh, shucks. This is crazy. And it was just bad around my birthday time was April. It was so bad because during that time, they was just trying to figure out what to do and how to do things. Governor Cuomo, Mayor Biagio, they was trying just to, cope with it themselves, because I know it was hard for them as much as it was hard for us trying to cope with our emotions, because they're in a more higher seat than us. So they're trying to really understand, try to really govern the people and help the people in regards to New York City, get what they need during this whole COVID-19, because it was on lockdown and people lost their jobs and, people couldn't pay no rent. Good thing they had the stimulus check of $1,200. That rate was good. That blessed us. Even if we got that stimulus check from, $600 this year. If y'all didn't receive it yet, I hope y'all receive it during your income tax season. That's coming up soon too. So, file your income tax soon, okay? It's coming up, y'all. But, that money was pretty good for us. I felt we deserved it, because a lot of people, was laid off. And I could only imagine how they was feeling. That mental health. that mental health that they was feeling. Like they're like, man, I can understand they was probably feeling down. They was feeling like, they was in despair. They was depressed. I could just, like imagine, them going to work, and then the manager say, I gotta lay you off because of what's going on. I can only imagine because COVID-19 just didn't take lives, but took money because they had to send so many medical things for the first responders. Like masks. They had to send gloves. They had to send a lot of stuff. And where I work at, excuse me, where I work at, which is Home Depot, we at one moment we actually stopped selling certain things. We stop it. We stop it and he got sent to the responders. So we know, I know, we experienced, loss too. So it was just so much going on last year that really affect our mental health. And I felt like even as I told my friends, I said, as the new year came, I felt like it was bittersweet because it was just, so much things that went on in 2020, so much things that has happened in 2020. It was just so much on the mind that, like, it was just like, man, I made it. I know some of y'all out there may have felt the same way. Like, man, I really lived through 2020. Like, oh, I really made it. Like, it's a happy new year, but it's like, man, I really made it. And, even going into the new year, we still had to deal with COVID-19. We still had to deal with this whole situation regards to living with a mask, So it was like, man, some of us may have the question like, yo, when is it gonna end? Like, when is this coronavirus going to end? And I heard they had some new one they said that it's cousins to COVID-19. It's some new virus they're saying that's coming about. Well, we just gotta pray, y'all. Just gotta pray, y'all, because there's just a lot going on in the world, right now. Even regards to the politics. Even though I ain't trying to get political on this podcast, I'm not trying to get like that, But y'all know what's going on, with Joe Biden and Trump. You already know. Even with the Capitol, people going to the Capitol and doing crazy stuff, and that's crazy too. The Capitol one, that was crazy because the race part, yeah, I know. I'm not even gonna say it on here. I'm gonna stay in my lane. No matter talk, but yes. So it just was so much going on in the world last year that I felt like it really affect our mental health because we had to try to cope with the new norm, which was even schooling. I could even imagine how the teachers felt regards to not going to school and not seeing their favorite student, not seeing their favorite class. Even the kids too. I can imagine how the kids felt not being able to go to their school building, not be able to go to gym, not be able to go to, class and see their friends. I can only imagine how they felt. Now they gotta do something called remote learning, which they go through Zoom, I believe. Zoom is like a big thing now. Everybody use Zoom. Zoom is like making that money right now, making that chicken. Zoom. But I can only just imagine. Being a teacher and having to, look at a camera through Zoom and see your kids in their own house. Like, it's just, I can say it's nerve wracking. It's hard because he's just like, man, I can't physically see them. Like, I can see them, but not physically. Like, I can't touch them because of this COVID-19. So I can understand for the teachers, the mental health for the teachers. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But as I said, we made it to 2021. But I know it's still nerve wracking. Like, it's still depressing. It's still like, man, we still in it. Like, we haven't got through it yet. Like we making it. We living. Thank God we living. But the mental side of us, we trying to really cope with our emotion. We're trying to really cope this new normal, this new norm of living. Because, I ain't gonna front. Wearing a mask every day really sucks. Like, I hate wearing masks to work. Like, I hate it. It be making me out. You making me itch, making my beard itch. I'd be like, man, I didn't take this mask off. But, I can't take it off because I'm risking myself of getting sick. Because you just don't know who have it. That's another thing, too. That's really nerve-wracking. You don't know if you have it. You don't know if you have it. That's the most craziest thing regards to this COVID-19, this coronavirus, is that you could get the symptoms of it. You don't even know you have it, the symptoms of it. You get confused with a common cold and with COVID-19. Like, you get confused because you just feel like, how they say, the CDC, how they said, regards to getting coronavirus, you get so panic. You get panic attacks because you're trying to figure out if you got it or not. And if you do got it, you got to quarantine. And if you quarantine, can't see nobody for 14 days, I believe. Yeah, 14 days. So it's good to get tested. Get tested just to calm your mental health. Down, to calm your mind down, to calm yourself down, your well-being. Because at the end of the day, you only live once. You only live once, you only live once, and you gotta take care of yourself. I think this coronavirus was a pro and cons, because the pros is now you really got to really eat properly. You got really, gather yourself together, get your emotions together, and do things that you need to do. As I said in my previous podcast, 2020 is a year to really understand your awareness, build your awareness, understand what you got to do. Like, even for me with my podcast, 2020 really helped me understand my podcast, understand my vision, understand where I'm going. Like, it really helped me so much. Like, it was sad, but it was actually good because I realized what I need to do. Like, I realize what I'm capable of doing. I realize so much things because I tend to not try to let, my emotions get the best of me. I try my best to let my emotions not get ahead of me. As my friend would say, emotions is energy in motion. Sometimes we feed into our emotions so much that we miss our opportunity to be free, miss opportunity to really, gather ourselves, miss opportunity to really cope with our emotions. As I said in my previous podcast, with depression, and when I had it, as I said again, it's pressure. It's a cause of pressure because you just don't understand what's going on. So because you don't understand what's going on, it applies pressure on you because you're trying to really cope with it. And when you're depressed, you're all down and out. You don't want to see nobody. You be in the corner. Someone told me you be in the corner. You be in the bed. Don't want to get up. Don't want to eat. And I know some of us, listen to the sound of my voice, was like that in 2020. Let's be real, y'all. Put it in the comments. If you know that was you, put it in the comments. I know some of us was like that in 2020. Our mental health, our well-being, we were just trying to really understand, like, yo, what is this? What is this? Like, it really took a lot out of us. For some of us, it took the wind out of us. It hit like a rocket. Like, boom. Like, you're like, whoa, I didn't know this was coming. Whoa. Yeah, that's what I would say. But during this 2021, during this new year that we just, came upon, we really got to sit back and think, like, yo, what is next for me? Like, what is next? As I have a motto, what's that, motto? I think, yeah, motto, I said it right. I have a motto. No, a motto, right? I said it right. For 2021, excuse me. I'm still in 2020. I don't know why I'm saying 2020. But for this new year, I have a little saying that I'm going about now is to gain and maintain. I feel like we lost so much last year that now we just gotta gain, and not just gain but maintain. With meaning maintain meaning secure it. Not just even secure it, but build upon it as we gain, as we become better, as we get better. Maintain it, but don't stop growing, don't stop building. Keep on going, keep on building. Because at the end of the day, it starts with you. As I said in my previous podcast, episode 7, I believe, it all starts with you. What are you going to do is the question. What are you going to do? This is mental talk. Yes, it's mental talk. But the question is, before you really talk mentally, you gotta understand physically what you're gonna do. Because what I realized that sometimes we overthink things. Some things can really be thought in a couple of seconds. But because we overthink it too much, we tend to take a risk that could have been a miss. Ooh, I heard that. Ooh, say that again. Sometimes we tend to take a risk that could have been a miss. Oh wow. What I mean about that? That if we just could have really thought about it, it wouldn't have been a risk. You could have missed something that would have risked you. You see that? See what I said there? You would have missed something that would have risked you because you took the risk. Now you wasn't able to miss it. So now you gotta deal with it, basically. I'm trying to say, you just gotta deal with it the best way you can. That's why I say it's good to really understand, as I said in my previous podcast, really evaluate yourself, knowing yourself, getting that awareness, becoming authentic in your well-being and understanding where you're going, who you are, and what time it is. When you start doing all that, you start realizing, certain things you got to adjust, certain things you got to change. Because at the end of the day, only you know your struggles. Only you know your weaknesses. And I felt like, this is the year that you really got to get your mental health together, Get it together. 2020 was tough. It was rough. But don't try to live another 2020. Don't try to live this year like it's 2020. No. You made it. Now it's time to gain and maintain. It's time to gain what you lost in 2020. It's time to gain. And not just gain, as I said again, not just even maintain, but build. Keep building, Keep on going. Don't stop. Because at the end of the day, only you could be your biggest enemy. As I said, it's true. You could be the one, you could be that stumbling block. You could be that hindrance regards to getting towards your destination. Do you know that? I want you to hear me out there in my world out there, my podcast world, wherever you're tuning in. Even it could be YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're tuning in. I want you to hear me. You got to gain and maintain. You got to gain some stuff. As they said, no pain, no gain. So you went through pain, so now we got to gain. As I said in the previous podcast, 2020 was just a year to really, understand who you really are. You had an opportunity to, be alone, to invest in yourself. You had an opportunity to really understand your dreams, understand your vision, understand what you got to do regards to making your vision come true. Your dream come reality. You had an opportunity to really see it for yourself. So in other words, 2020 vision really was a vision. 2020, because you really start to understand your vision. Because it woke me up, 2020. I don't know about anybody else, but it woke me up regards to my vision, regards to my podcast. As I always say about my podcast story, how I really just was going to give it up, how I was just going to stop doing it. But then at one moment I say, you know what? This is my vision. This is my dream, and I love it. I love talking to people. I love hearing people's opinion, and I love me getting an opportunity to let someone speak, their mind and hear and let their voice be heard across, the world. You know, and I say, what? That's my vision. That's what I really want. So I say, what? Let me search and try to find me a studio, find me somewhere to continue my podcast. And next thing I know, I was at Gotham Studio Podcast. It's again, shout out to Gotham Studio Podcast. Shout them out now. Shout you out, Gotham. Y'all doing y'all thing. I'm glad to be here. So I was like, you know what? I'm thinking too much on the negative, but the positive of 2020. Because we think about the negative of 2020, your mental, your mind start to really, you know, go all crazy, go all like berserk. Like you start thinking about, who died and what happened, and you start to really just lose sight of where you need to go, to the point you become a cloud. You become clouded. Now, if you say that, you become crowded. Yeah, you become crowded. Ain't that something? It's crazy, but it's true. You become crowded. Like, it's crazy, how sometimes we try to blame other people, but sometimes we're the one crowding ourselves. We're the one that placing that cloud over our minds that we can't even think. And that's why it's good to be open-minded, because sometimes you may hear something that may actually help you in your future. Help you not even in your future, but in your present too. As I always say that, everything happens circumstances, situations happen to orchestrate your present to your future. It's there to arrange. Something gotta go through an arrangement, an arrangement in your life so that you can properly be developed. You want to be properly. You want to be properly developed. You want to be properly self-developed. Also, sometimes, as I said in my previous podcast, it's good to really, have a self-evaluation and like really see what you need to do, see what you need to work on, see your weakness. Try to make some. As I always say, it's always room for improvement. It's always room for improvement. But the question is, what are you thinking about? What is your goals? What it is? What is it? What's holding you back? That's why you gotta get your mental health together, so that it won't hinder you and it won't block you from getting to where you need to get to. Okay, at the end of the day, it all starts with you. I'm trying to tell you, it all starts with you. So before I close, I just want to say this last thing. When I was in October, when I was thinking about how in the world I'm gonna, start next year, I was like, man, should I start like this? Or I start like that? Should I do a season this way? But after a while, when we start to stop and think, see, that's one of us. That's what I always say. Sometimes it's good to just stop and think. Just stop and think. And not just stop and think, but also analyze and observe the movement, and also get an understanding of how you're gonna do it, and how the ways you're gonna do it. That's why I always say it's always good to have. Someone said it too. It's always good to have a plan B, not just a plan A, but a plan B. It's always good to have a plan B, because you just things happen in life. So it's always good to have a plan B. Always good to have a plan B. Remember that. Always have a plan B. All right, y'all. So hopefully I encourage someone out there. It was the part 1 of the mental talk with yours truly, Akeem. Part 2 and part 3 will be coming out very soon. I believe next week. I will have some people on here. It won't be me talking, you know, 'cause I could talk for a long time. I could talk for a couple of hours. I got more to say, but I'm gonna, keep it short. But I hope y'all enjoyed part one. The mental talk is something new that I'm trying to do. As I said again, when the fans talk, season 3 will be coming to you next month. I have some people coming. It's gonna be about music, about culture. So stay tuned for that. But during this next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be doing the mental talk, where we're gonna be talking about mental health and how to cope with our emotion. Because at the end of the day, it's very important. Mental health is very, very, very important because I'm telling you, if your mental health ain't right, you ain't gonna be right. If your mind ain't right, you ain't gonna be right. If your mind is going on crazy, you gonna go crazy. So that's why I'm saying this mental talk is very key. So I say, why not start it off in the first month of the year? People need to hear how other people cope with their emotion, how other people cope with their feelings and their mental health, how other people really, see and understand mental health. So y'all stay tuned for part 2 and part 3. That's coming out very soon. I believe next week. This is part 1. Of course, you can share with your friends, please. As I said again, like, comment, share. Follow me on Instagram. You see my flyer here. At when the fans talk _19. Once again, at when the fans talk _19. There is a lot of information about to be brought out. So please, please, please tell your friend, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your sister or your brother, tell everybody that you know. Spread the word. That when the fans talk, got Instagram and got TikTok. We on TikTok too, y'all. When the fans talk _21. Yeah, we on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok also. We on Twitter. We on Facebook. So please, spread the love, y'all. Spread the love. This world need love right now. A lot of people are going through a lot of things in their mind. And love is one of the keys regards to getting someone to feel better. I'll get into that next time on part 2 about the love part, but this, what I said earlier, keep that in mind, all right? Let it digest in you. Let it just, marinate in you, let it minister to you. So I'm hoping, I hope that y'all really enjoy this part 1 with yours truly, Hakeem. As I said again, this is a 4-part series. We'll be coming back again next couple of weeks of the mental talk. And I'll have a few guests on here, a few friends that y'all probably saw already. I have another guy coming. We're gonna be collabing together. I got a few people coming also, so y'all just stay tuned for that, cause a lot coming for the mental talk. So long, and see you next time on the mental talk. On the mental talk, on the mental talk with yours truly, Akeem Damon. All right.